This is the And Go podcast, and this little series we're gonna try doing a verse. This week we're gonna do Batman versus Iron Man. Bill, I know you have feelings on how much people sucking Batman's dick in a verse contest, so you started off.
I mean, they do. It's like every time Batman comes up, everybody's always like, Batman automatically wins. And I'm like, but why? I don't know. It just gets on my nerves. It's like always, there's always some little caveat or something that they have to write in or throw in to where it like makes Batman win. Oh yeah, but what if lightning struck the guy in the face right before he went to face Batman? Yeah, it's just BS. They're always coming up with some like extra little workaround for Batman.
Deus Ex for Batman for the win. I understand if someone defends that, but Batman does have the supercomputer where he has the list of the weaknesses. Now we're doing DC versus Marvel, so in this hypothetical Batman versus Iron Man, would Batman have data on Iron Man and would Iron Man have data on Batman?
Well, I got one word for you when it comes to supercomputer, Jarvis. So
I definitely agree that Iron Man has the advantage on the computer. But I argue the only place Batman is more intelligent than Iron Man is in his investigation work. He's also a better martial artist, but...
And again, I'm a Batman fan. Always have been. Yeah. Batman the Animated Series, one of my favorite cartoons ever. It was always one of my favorite characters, growing up. So I am a fan of Batman. But I just think people get ridiculous with the whole Batman versus whoever.
Yeah, okay. I think that's a fair assessment, to be honest. I understand that Batman, has researched the weaknesses of all of his allies in case they ever, and inevitably do, go insane in the comic book world. So I guess really comes down to, I guess the level set of, they both encounter each other. They have their standard issued gear. I honestly think, because we talked about this a couple days ago, but I honestly think it would be a really short fight because of two words, tank missile.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. If you get Batman's just a man, so as soon as he gets shot in the face with a missile, and his face is exposed, mind you, it's pretty much over.
Yeah. Okay, and I will agree with that assessment. If it's just the two men meeting in their outfits, that Iron Man would most likely win, except if Iron Man lets the battle drag on. I think this is where Batman, he has two advantages. The ninja sneak attack. He can sometimes, if she knows the weakness and the enemy is susceptible to it.
See this is what I'm talking about. This is the whole, like, we got to throw in all of these caveats in order for Batman to win. But
it does not mean that he wins automatically. Scenario matters a lot to Batman. And the longer the battle gets drawn out, the more he's more of a fighter and more of a detective, so he would see more weaknesses. But of course, Iron Man would have his supercomputer to also find Batman's weaknesses. So
in real time,
I think, and faster probably. He would probably get. So I think Batman, if he survived for at least 10 minutes, which is like a huge amount of time in a fight between the two, he would stand a chance, but it would be it would still be a toss-up between the two.
Yeah, and that's a lot of it too, is the whole, I feel like every time there's a Batman versus scenario, everybody knows that he has no superpowers, right? So they're always looking for this way of like him doing enough homework or prep work, in order to like find a way to win before the battle actually happens.
He has to.
Right.
To win.
And that's kind of ends up being the annoying part, because if you give any character that much advantage, if Batman didn't have any idea about Tony Stark and Tony Stark studied him for a month and came up with a way to beat him, then how long is he going to last? You know what I mean? It always seems to go one way with Batman when it comes to those type of deals. He's done his research and investigated and figured out a weakness, and then he's ready. And I'm like, okay, if that's giving him a lot of advantages when it comes to the writing of the scenario. Um, but I don't know. I think Iron Man or Marvel kind of solved that question better with that character than DC did with Batman, because essentially all they both are is billionaires. I mean, they both just have tons of money and they're intelligent guys, right? So that's kind of the basic premise of their characters the same. But with Iron Man, they said, well, okay, he's fighting these supervillains. He's in a world where there's Thor and Spider-Man and all these other like characters that have powers and that are beyond a human's ability. What are we going to do with that? Well, let's give him, technical ability that lets him, hang with the rest, right? He's got an iron suit and all the technology, but Batman really didn't do that. They went with, well, we're going to teach him whatever martial arts there are, and each time it seems like I read a comic, they've increased the number of martial arts that he's learned. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think they solved the problem with Iron Man a little bit better by giving him the tech.
Yeah, I agree. It's obviously Batman is more of a physical specimen. He's like 6'2", 250, all muscle. He has the body of an Olympian, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Big old brain on Batman, tons of money. So it's interesting that they, obviously, I guess with the suit, they don't need to have Tony Stark be an imposing physical specimen.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a fun fight for sure.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it doesn't work. It's hard to find a good Marvel v DC comparison.
Equivalent.
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
obviously they're the same character.
Yeah, I was
but
gonna say character-wise, they're definitely an equivalent. But yeah, I mean, straight up fight 1-to-1, everybody knows Iron Man kills him within 30 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, I will agree in that scenario, Iron Man, and I think if this was even a planned out fight, Batman would think he has the upper hand and would probably end up getting sideswiped, and it would put Tony at a disadvantage. It's a matter of endurance match
Yeah.
at that. I think
Oh,
if Batman could draw it out to over 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, he could win. But that's the caveat. He would have to get first strike, and he would have to survive at least 15 minutes against Iron Man in his suit. Even if he
yeah.
took out the suit, Tony has countermeasures.
Yeah, and the thing is like when you look at Tony Stark, kind of does the same thing with the Avengers. He has the Hulkbuster, he has Veronica. When it comes to the Hulk and stuff. So it's like, I think if you have that level playing field where they both have prep time to investigate or come up with contingencies and that kind of stuff, you still end up with basically the same battle, because Tony Stark can do that same thing. He is a super genius. They talk about how like he has one of the highest IQs in the MCU or in Marvel Universe in general. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, well, if Batman had prep time, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, they both do that within their own universes. So, and then you still come down to the suit versus not suit.
It's also Batman could create a suit. He does have mechanical suits.
That's true. Yeah.
But still, I think he has the first strike advantage. I think no matter how much both of them prep in beforehand, Batman, just with his skills, would get the first strike. Tony would know this, though, and would have countermeasures. That's what I'm thinking here. He would know Batman would probably get the jump on him, but he would have countermeasures. If his countermeasures were enough to survive the initial strike and he could finish off Batman quickly, which I believe he could do fairly easy with his supercomputer.
Tony also has more of a propensity to bend the rules. So the whole, like, he could, figure out who Batman was, where he was, through the use of cell phones and other things with Jarvis, and doesn't even care. I mean, how much does Batman agonize over that in the Christopher Nolan?
Psychological advantage might work
Batman,
for Tony.
In most iterations, does not really make all of his tech.
Yeah, that's correct. could be
So,
corruptible from beginning. If
well,
he
I just
did,
mean like if you're talking about in preparation or even on the spot kind of thing, Tony Stark directly makes his own suits and everything else and comes up with the contingencies, but Batman relies on other people to make most of his tech.
Tony Stark has no problem killing a motherfucker as well.
Huh?
Tony Stark has no problem killing a motherfucker.
Right, yeah, exactly.
yeah, I think 9 to 10 scenarios, Tony will win. So let's switch this conversation just real quick. Batman, can he beat any of the Avengers? Well, Hawkeye probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the ones that don't have,
But Captain
superpowers.
America, that I would be curious more about that.
That would be an interesting one.
That
And
would
Captain
probably be a better
America's
matchup.
kinda, at least within the MCU, is kind of an odd character because they seem to scale his powers quite a bit from film to film. Sometimes he's like, you know, punching trucks out of the way, and then other times he's struggling to fight regular people. Like in Winter Soldier, he's on the boat and the military guys are kicking his ass half the time. So it's kind of weird. That would be an interesting one to see him fight Batman.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah, I got Batman all day on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will give Batman a 7 to 10 against. I think he would kick Hawkeye's ass
Yeah,
10
no
out
problem.
of 10.
And that
problem.
would also come down to whether or not Batman was willing to use lethal force, because hand to hand, Captain America wins all day long,
Yeah.
just because of his super strength. And not only that, but his ability to take punishment. So Batman can
Sure.
wail on him all day long and not do anything, but Captain America punches Batman in the head, and it's Concussion City. So
I just see Captain America getting gassed or something and
Yeah.
getting knocked out and then tied up and that's it. Or like Captain America throws his mighty shield and Batman just like kind of catches it and puts it down and says, "Okay, that's out of the way. So now let's."
yeah,
I
let me
think
get my-
you underestimate the shield a little, Mike, but I agree with the sentiment. He would find some way to take out the shield.
but I think
Yeah.
Captain America gets shot, doesn't he? Can he
I don't know.
Is he impervious? Yeah,
He's not
I don't think so.
impervious.
I don't think so. Yeah, I
If
think
he
gets
had,
shot.
he generally wears armor. His shield is his protection.
Yeah. I was gonna say
He-
the
I use
shield.
my
I
bat
said.
gun.
No, but I'm saying like so he could get like stabbed with a batarang or something. You know what I mean? Like he's
Sure.
not 100% impervious, but he couldn't. Batman couldn't just go and fight him. It'd have to be something else.
I mean,
Like a
against the
boxing
Hawk
match.
and I gave Tony 9 out of 10 against Batman. It might be more 8 out of 10, but let's go with 9 out of 10. Against Thor, the Hulk, I don't think Batman would stand a chance.
No, the
Not
Hulk
even
really
with
doesn't
prep.
have a weakness.
Yeah,
that-
and
so
Thor can keep up with him physically.
That's the thing, is you have to have a character that literally can knock him out in his current form. With the Hulk.
Yeah.
The Hulk can drown.
Maybe, yeah.
Not
it's
very
possible.
easily.
Yeah, it's possible.
No, yeah, I'm just saying if
You'd have to
if
hold
you-
him down under. That's what I'm saying. You got to have like something that with the physical strength to overpower the Hulk. And Tony does it with the use of like a gigantic suit, or Thor does it because he has equal or just about equal strength, and the hammer. But so I don't. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if Batman stands a chance against something like that.
Okay.
Right.
Any other hypothetical Batman matchup with Marvel? Just to cap this off.
I'm running through all the. I don't know.
um
He could
Spider-Man.
definitely beat the new Captain America, Falcon.
Yeah.
Falcon's just a normal man. He's a soldier. Not really a contest there.
Ant-Man would be kind of an interesting one.
That
Ant-Man would be interesting.
Ant-Man
Yeah.
is actually something Pym. He's a scientist.
Hank Pym, yeah. If you're talking about the
He-
original, yeah.
Batman would actually have to have the jump on him to beat him, I think. Just Ant-Man's abilities would just be too weird.
Yeah.
Batman would have to have foreknowledge. It'd be
Yeah.
a good matchup, Ant-Man. Or
obliterate
even
Peter
Spider-Man versus Batman. But let's not get
You say
Spider-Man.
Peter Quill?
Quill. He would obliterate Peter Quill.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Him, I feel like him versus Nick Fury would be interesting.
Oh,
Just because Nick Fury's cagey. I mean, obviously, he's not in-
paranoid. He has countermeasures.
Yeah.
yeah.
That would be a good matchup also. But does anyone have any argument to the 9-10 Tony Stark wins?
Nope.
No, I think that's about right. You got Batman
Very
has like
unique
10% chance of winning it. Yeah.
No matter what contingencies take. I just wanted to give him a fair shot.
Yeah. No, I think at least 1 out of 10. Yeah, sure.
Agreed.
Okay, well, thank you for this experimental series of verses. Let us know what you thought about the craziness. And this is the Ango Podcast, a BBM product. Hope you enjoyed, and remember to dislike because you're a big Batman fan, I'm sure, if you're watching us. Bye.